tight ends are a quarterback's best friend. And I have three, one from the ACC, two from the Big 12, that will be able to bolster their passing offense in 2025.
You are Locked On NFL Draft, your daily podcast covering the NFL Draft. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome back to the Locked On NFL Draft Podcast, your daily podcast covering your favorite draft prospects, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. I'm your boy, Damian Parson. I'm an NFL draft analyst with Bleacher Report. And as always, thank you for making Locked On NFL Draft your first listen today and every day. Shout out for being our every dayers, guys. We got a fun one here. We're going to talk about some tight ends for the college football season. One from the ACC, Justin Jolly, and why he needs to be on your radar. Terrence Carter Jr., transferring from Louisiana to Texas Tech, and then Tanner Koziol going to the Houston Cougars. But before we can get into all of that, guys, today's episode is brought to you by Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use the code LOCKEDONNFL for $20 off your first purchase. Justin Jolly, 6'3", 250 pounds, an athletic moving tight end. Changed his number to number 7 this year from 15. But you talk about a well-built pass catcher that has wide receiver skills, wide receiver movement ability. You want to talk about a guy that Justin Jolly brings. He's like, and this is going to be kind of a theme on this pod. Those pure pass catchers, man, those guys that you detach, that you could throw out at the X, you could put them out wide at the Z, you could make them your big power slot, detach them from the line of scrimmage. Justin Jolly at North Carolina State, we talked about their former star wide receiver, Casey Concepcion. He is now in Texas A&M, if I remember correctly, opening up a lot of targets for Justin Jolly. Justin Jolly last year, guys, caught 43 of his 57 targets for 661 yards receiving, averaged 15 and a half yards per catch, and 4 receiving touchdowns. But not only that, one thing he also did fairly well is come down, not even fairly well. He was great at it. He came down with the contested catches. Per PFF, he brought in 11 of his 13 contested catch targets for a contested catch percentage of 84.6. So when you talk about and when we discuss these athletic, big, easy moving tight ends, that's the match. That's the mismatch in today's NFL and just in NFL period. Right? Everybody's chasing that tight end that can come in and change things for your team. And when I look at a Justin Jolly, right, I think the routes are good. This guy that can separate the top of his break, but he's a guy that also, I love the physicality and the strength he plays with. So you talk about him working up the seam, right? You watch the film, you see him attack vertically up the seam. And you see guys get hands on. They're trying to be handy. They're trying to slow him down. Maybe even some catch technique from off coverage. And he does such a good job clubbing the hand down, keeping his stride, not allowing that defender's physicality, right? And that contact, that physical contact to derail him, to reroute him, to throw him off his path. I've watched plenty of tight ends that when they're working across the middle of the field, they're working against tight man-to-man coverage or physical man-to-man coverage. Yeah, they get knocked off their route path. And the ball is thrown with the expectation that you're still going to keep it straight up the seam. But instead of running up the seam and running up the hash mark, he's forced you on the outside of the hash mark, and he's repositioned himself in your route path as in the defender has, whether it's a linebacker, a nickel corner, or safety. Again, Justin Jolly, 6'3", 250 pounds, with his strength, with his arm length, right? Functional arm length, maybe above average to good arm length. We don't have an exact number, but he uses every bit of his wingspan to his advantage at the catch point. That's why he comes down with a lot of those 50-50 contested catch targets. Number one, he has a dog mentality, and he has a dog mentality at the catch point. So if you throw it up to him, he expects the ball to be his. He turns those 50-50 to 80-20 in his favor. He goes up with strong hands. He used full extension of his limbs, of his wingspan at the catch point to extend. How many times you see guys go up, but they go up with the intent to body catch? Like, if you're going to body catch and just wait for it to fall to you, right? Try to catch it like a punt returner. There's no need to go up and still have your arms cradled in like a T-Rex. You got an 80-inch wingspan, but we're out here T-Rex and catches. No. What I want from my tight ends is to go up, high point, be physical, be aggressive, and own the moment. And Justin Jolly does those things. But not only that, like I said, he has the speed to attack the vertical plane. Right? He knows how to work in and out of zones and find those soft spots. You can use him in the slice action, off the play action with the bootlegs, and he's the dump off guy right there. That number one, just hit that little flat route. It's right there. He's that guy, and then he can turn it up field and then make plays after the catch as well. Short area quickness is good. I think he has to improve the blocking. Even when he's kind of that slice, that split flow blocker and everything, he makes contact on the backside end or defensive player, but it's just technical stuff, right? You want to do same foot, same shoulder, and instead in leverage is key. What he's done at times, you'll see him working from right to left on the formation as a slice block on split flow action, and he does make contact, but he's attacking with his inside shoulder. Now, if he seals that block, great, but it makes it a little more difficult because of the angling and the leverage and things like that. You go with the outside shoulder and you get to really make contact. You can pin that guy into the wash and into the sea of bodies at the line of scrimmage, trying to get into the second level. And now it's chaotic for that defender. So when I look at, again, just watching the tape of him, what I've seen, Justin Jolly, and I'm gonna pull up and make sure I have the measurables right for this young man. Oh, he might be a little bit older now. You know what I mean? Because he was drafted back in 2014, 1993, out of UNC. And I'm checking to make sure. Yeah, Eric Ebron. That as soon as I'm watching him, I saw Eric. Again, the conference is the same. Measurements are nearly identical. And even just the play style, being an athletic pass catcher at the tight end position and be functional and serviceable in the run game. I think he has a strength and everything to be a good blocker. It's more so going to be technique and we have everything else technically iron. Get his hands fitted the right way. And again, same foot, same shoulder with the right shoulder and close that gap. And because think about it, right? Like if the running back cuts that back out and you use the wrong shoulder, that guy swim moves you back to the outside. Now he's already the outside is basically shut down, right? But if you go with same foot, same shoulder, lock that in, things like that, it gives the running back space to cut back, jump cut, get around outside if his other paths to daylight are closed. But nonetheless, man, I look at just this tight end class. This is a good tight end class, guys. Good tight end class. And we may not have the top tier names coming into the summer like a Colston Loveland. Tyler Warren was on the radar, but he wasn't tight end one last summer. It was all the bells and whistles we saw with Penn State's offense that got him the ball, and it was just like, man, shiny toy. He's so good and things like that, right? And he's doing a work over there in Indianapolis through training camp. So love what Tyler Warren brings to the table. But again, Justin Jolly from the North Carolina State Wolfpack, yeah, this young man is it's all going to be on CJ Bailey, their young quarterback. Get him the football. Casey Concepcion is gone. Let him be your number one pass target because he can be a big de facto wide receiver for you. And I think that'll help a young player out a lot. Justin Jolly is a safety / security blanket for CJ Bailey. He should be. And he should be targeted at high clips and high rates because I don't think a lot of these linebackers, even some of these safeties in the ACC, are going to be able to guard him one-on-one. But talking about guarding somebody one-on-one, athletic, smooth mover, Terrence Carter Jr., transfer from Louisiana, transferred to Texas Tech. Let's talk about his game coming up next. Time to fuel up and turn it up with 5-Hour Energy Transfusion. It brings the bold grape, ginger, and lime flavor of your favorite golf drink minus the alcohol into a quick energizing shot. Whether you're sinking birdies or just making memories with friends, this one's a hole-in-one for your energy game. And let's be honest, some days on the course and off it, you just need that extra boost to stay sharp and energized. Golf is all about good times with good people and good flavors, of course. The grape, ginger, lime flavor gives you the best parts of your clubhouse go-to without chasing down the bev cart. If you go to 5hourenergy.com today, that's the number 5hourenergy.com, you can use my promo code LOCKEDONGolf to receive 20% off your order. This offer is only valid until September 30th on one order and cannot be used with other promotions. This code is not good on subscription orders. Whether you're meeting up with friends or trying to turn 18 holes into 36, get the energizing boost you need to power through. Order transfusion flavored 5-Hour Energy shots today. Former Louisiana star tight end and pass catcher Terrence Carter Jr. will now be catching passes, I believe, in Lubbock, Texas, for the Texas Tech Raiders in the Big 12. And I believe that this young man has what it takes to be a big impact on this offense. Last year, they had Jalen Conyers, who was a do-it-all guy. He could play tight end, the power slot, running back, a wildcat quarterback, throw the ball. He did a little bit of everything in that offense, right? And I think that you can get similar in terms of just yards after catch in space usage from a Terrence Carter Jr. He is a densely built 6'2", 245 pounds listed as tight end who has wide receiver movement skills similar to, as I talked about with Justin Jolly. And this is a guy who has short area quickness with his route running and his footwork. He changes levels once he catches the ball. He becomes a runner immediately or fairly quickly after securing the reception. And then his ability to absorb contact, right? I think his ability to absorb contact as a run after catch threat or as a ball carrier, a runner of sorts, is really outstanding. Like his ability he catches passes and he takes on contact, right? A lot of days nowadays, guys like defenders aren't tackling with proper technique and different things of that nature, right? And one thing I notice when it pertains to it is the fact that, like, hey, they throw their shoulder, they come in with 2 forearms, and they throw their body in just trying to make a big hit. And Terrence Carter, with his build and also not being 6'6", 6'7", he's 6'2", 245, listed as, he does a good job, man. He's got good center of gravity. You hit him in the core, he absorbs that, keeps it going. I believe it might have been, was it Coastal Carolina? It might either been Coastal Carolina. No, it's App State. He had a catch and run, I believe, for a touchdown in this game where, he caught the ball. He ran this route. I think it was like a corner route. It was like 3 defenders in the vicinity. Beautiful throw by the quarterback. He catches the ball. I think like 2 guys jump on his back. He takes a hit and he just stumbles. And as he stumbles, the other defenders who are draped over him, they lose grip and they fall off. And then he just goes upfield. I'm pretty sure he took it in for 6. And I was like, man, that's balance, that's contact balance, that's core strength, all of that, all those things. And what I appreciated about this game as a receiver is he tracks the ball well. You're talking about a tight end, catching the ball over the shoulder, over either shoulder. He's comfortable and confident in doing so. So for me, it's like, hey, when fans ask what's a tight end that could come in to help my team, I say you look at Terrence Carter Jr. for Texas Tech this year. In the Big 12, Texas Tech is believe they're air raid based offense. They're going to air it out with Ben Morton and Caleb Douglas and Coy Eakin. And yeah, they have a lot of talent that people don't know much about, right? So now he goes into air raid offense with a strong arm quarterback who's also mobile. Okay, talented talented quarterback all around. And then he has receivers that can really make things happen one-on-one, that can pull coverage, do different things like that. I wouldn't be surprised if he's, once they really get that chemistry down, him and Morton, in terms of Terrence Carter Jr. and Baron Morton, that's his name, Baron Morton, the quarterback. Once they get that timing and that chemistry truly down packed against a live defense, to start the season, don't be surprised if he's one of the top 2 to 3 reception leaders, because he's going to have the matchup, right? He's going to be an easier target to get the ball to, because more than likely he's going to live in the middle of the field, right? The short to intermediate, the middle portion of the field, between the numbers, between the hashes. He's going to live in there. And if he does, that's a way that you get him matched up on those linebackers, get him matched up on those safeties, and allow him to just go out and make plays. And I think with Terrence Carter Jr., you want to just see, I think he's a functional run blocker. He does a good job on dual blocks, tag teaming and double teaming at the point of attack in the run game. So you're talking about, hey, a coach telling, hey, double team, right? Dual block this defensive end, then climb to that outside linebacker, seal him, and give your running back you turn your back, seal him, give him your numbers on the back of your jersey to cut up off of and hit and have a lane, right? They always was it NFL, ESPN, NFL, I can't remember the name of the show. But I think like Ron Jaworski and all of them was on there, and they'll be like, you get a seal, you get an alley. And I think that's what you want him to be able to do, is help with those specific things. And if he does that in the run game, you feel really good about what he can bring in the pass game. And I thought about just like a somewhat of a comp, like a early comp on him, Chig Okonkwo with the Tennessee Titans, 6'2", 6'3", 238 pounds, listed as, from what it looks like. And again, Terrence Carter Jr. is listed at 6'2", 245. Two densely strong built tight ends and pass catchers who really excel when you get them on a path out in space, right? Get them the ball. I think you can run screens to Terrence Carter Jr. You could do those type of things that will put defenses in turmoil, because now if you run that delayed tight end screen and you got a guy who excels in space and you got 2 or 3 offensive linemen lead blocking for him, why not? Like that's what we call a great situation, right? You'd love to see things like that, because at the end of the day, you want to use your players to the best of their abilities. And I think that's one of the best abilities of Terrence Carter, is what he can do after the catch, what he can do out in space, what he can do with the football in his hands, because he is also a tough, gritty offensive player that is not afraid of contact, not afraid to stiff arm you, not afraid to run through you and lower the shoulder. Like, he'll finish runs. And I'm like, man, this dude's running like a big running back, man, once he gets the football in his hands. So I really like what I've seen from him on tape, even just at Louisiana. And I think this opportunity going from Louisiana to the Big 12 allows him to showcase, man, I am more than just a small school gym. I can come up here with the big boys. I can get into a Power 4 conference and still be difficult to cover. So at the end of the day, I think Terrence Carter Jr., when you say DP, Coach Dame DP, man, what tight end could I get him late day 2, early day 3? Terrence Carter Jr. out of Texas Tech. And I'll just say this, be prepared, because he could raise his stock, guys. He could raise his stock in that air raid offense and just going out there and putting up an outstanding, and I mean outstanding season. But we're going to close this thing out with, coming up next, Tanner Koziol. He's going from, I believe, Ball State, 6'7", big, tall drink of water at tight end, transferring to Houston with the Cougars. What will he bring to their offense? Talk about that coming up next. Have you ever decided at the last minute to head to a ball game with friends or family? Maybe it's game day and you suddenly realize you want to be in the stands. That's exactly where Game Time comes in. It's the easiest way to grab last-minute tickets without the stress. With the money you save on tickets, you can splurge on food, drinks, merch, or even invite a bigger group to come with you. Game Time makes it all possible. Game Time makes buying tickets fast and simple. Prices on the app actually drop the closer you get to the first pitch. And they've got incredible last minute deals, clear seat views, and a lowest price guarantee that takes the worry out of buying. So take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use the code LOCKEDONNFL for $20 off your first purchase. Again, guys, create an account, use the redeem code LOCKEDONNFL for $20 off. Download the Game Time app today. Last minute tickets, lowest prices, guaranteed. Thank you for making Locked On NFL Draft your first listen today and every day. Shout out for being our everydayer. 6'7", 240 pounds listed as out of Bloomingdale, Illinois, per ESPN. Tanner Koziol, the new Houston Cougars tight end, coming off a strong season last year. 94 receptions, 839 yards receiving, 8 receiving touchdowns for Ball State in 2024. And this is again a big, tall, long, athletic pass catcher. And the first name that came to mind when I was watching him was Mike Gesicki, who's played for the Dolphins. I believe he's in Cincinnati right now. Everything, and just talented, smooth mover as a tall, long-limbed, long-legged athlete. But it's crazy because when you look at PFF has him charted for 40 contested catch targets last year. He caught 26 of them for a contested catch percentage of 65%. So he's converting those, right? Only he had 4 drops with a drop percent of 4% last year. And he's a high volume target. He was a high volume target, 123 targets for 94 receptions last year. So when I look at Tanner Koziol, I see a player that can move well, that can run routes with good physicality, good hand usage, being able to fight through that contact mid-stem, not allow guys to throw off the cadence and timing of his route. Get to the spot, right? Everything is timing, spacing, all of it matters. And being able to get to the spot, like on the corner in the red zone. And that's where he excels. And that's where, when you say, what's his superpower, DP? To me, it is the ability to be a big physical catch target. And for me, it's more so in the red zone, that high red, even low red, whatever, just the red zone period, corner routes, fades, the deep over routes where you're working from one side of the formation, cutting through the middle of the end zone and working the back line, right? And then the fact that he's a guy you can just lob it high up to. Sometimes you want those targets that can attack. Matter of fact, you want those targets that can go get the cereal box off the fridge without a chair. Because when you're dealing with some of these corners and safeties, they need a booster seat to get up there, right? I can say this stuff. I'm short, so I can talk about height all I want. You know what I mean? So at the end of the day, that just is what it is. So when you have undersized DBs and defenders, linebackers, yeah, you might be able to run stride for stride, but when I put a helmet or higher, what can you do? When I throw it up top and he goes and elevates, what can you do to deter him and to break that pass up at the catch point? 9 times out of 10, nothing. You're helpless. You're not able to impact the play. And that's what Tanner Koziol can do. And I think going to Houston, an opportunity for him, just like it is for Terrence Carter, coming from smaller schools, can you swim with the big? Can you swim with the big sharks and the big fish in the big ocean? Or are you a big fish that just took over a small pond? Can you go to the Big 12 and just play ball and ball out? Can you go do that? I think Tanner Koziol can. And again, like I said, Mike Gesicki, that just smooth moving route runners, vertical speed, great stride length to just kind of gallop and run past you, but also then the leaping ability, the ball skills are all there. And for me, that's the same thing with Mike. That's what I'm saying with Mike Gesicki and with Tanner Koziol. I see a similar arc. Now, of course, leverage being 6'7", 6'6", 6'7", leverage as a blocker is never really going to be like yours right out the gate of a play, but it's going to be more so, okay, how do you handle power rushers, power edges that are standing up like the Jalen Walkers we've seen, things like that, and those blitzers, those free runners. Can you stop guys from getting to your quarterback if they call max protection? Can you open up lanes in the run game? Not saying you got to take a guy, latch your hands around the shoulder pads and turn and torque and flip the hips and seal. No, can you set a pick for me? Like, can you set me a really good screen? If you can, we can work with that. That's workable. That's work withable. I'll take, that's not even a word, but I'll take it all the time with tight ends. Is if I can do that, then I can try and design a game plan on helping you improve as a blocker overall. So that's our show, guys, talking about Tanner Kozel, Terrence Carter Jr., and Justin Jolly, 3 under the radar, but absolutely highly talented pass catching tight ends that you need to know about heading into the 2025 college football season and the 2026 NFL draft. Guys, training camp is underway for the NFL, but also colleges are in for fall camp. We are not too far away from the opening true kickoff to football, especially at the college football level. Can't wait to talk about these prospects actually in games, guys. But go subscribe on YouTube, wherever you listen to podcasts, to get the latest episode as soon as it is available. On tomorrow's show, me and Keith will be breaking down some of the things you need to be paying attention to through training camp. Also, I believe this is week 1 of preseason in the NFL. So talk about some of these rookies, who's under the most pressure to perform in their first true preseason action. So come and join the conversation again tomorrow on the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.